One of the most dangerous silent killers in your marriage is abandonment. I'm not talking about physical abandonment. I'm talking about emotional abandonment. And if you're one of those couples that's being emotionally abandoned by one partner, you know it. You feel lonely, you get resentful, you get angry, you feel like you're doing all the emotional load, all the physical load, and basically your partner comes home, they're in body, they'll sit in the living room and watch TV or wherever you take them, but they are not involved. They are basically cut off. So what are some of the symptoms? There's an emotional disconnect. There's a lack of communication. You guys don't talk anymore. There's a lack of physical intimacy. Oh yeah, it shows up in the bedroom, and pretty soon you no longer desire them, and they almost seem numb. They're avoiding you too. There's a withdrawing from the relationship. They don't prioritize it. They're not thinking about it in the same way. There's a disinterest in your life. They are no longer interested in what you're doing during the day, what's important to you, what gives you meaning, and there's a dismissing of your feelings. You can go to them crying or feeling really bad, and there's no response or little response on their end. And usually it's one more blaming you. They won't get into any arguments that are deeper, and that usually means the tough ones, because they don't want to fight. They basically don't want to engage. There's a focus on things outside of the marriage, more what's going on in their life, their work, other activities. Maybe they'll focus on the kids. A lack of support for you, emotional support mostly, and physical sometimes. And they prioritize their individual needs, so they come across as very selfish. Now you may ask yourself, did I cause this, or what caused it? There's a lot of causes. And usually they look like this: some kind of a childhood experience and trauma that was triggered by something they saw on TV, or something that happened situationally or is happening in the world or very close to them. There's a communication breakdown. If there's a communication breakdown of any kind, that they feel like they were blamed or insulted or disrespected, many times that will start it. Infidelity, any kind of abuse. If they feel like you've emotionally or physically abused them, chronic stress will do it. And you can sometimes get through by helping them kind of talk about the stress. In fact, if you take it off the relationship and talk more about the stress, many times they'll respond. And you can often get them engaged that way, although that's probably going to be with the help of a therapist. There's a major life transition. Maybe a parent died, or someone very close to them, or someone close to you that you didn't know would have the same or a more disastrous effect on them. Or a mental health issue. Don't forget, just because your adult partner never had a mental health issue does not mean that they cannot have one. They can still get depressed. They can come up with anxiety. There's all kinds of things that present very late in life. It's almost a rendition of what happened to their parents. And if you don't know their parents and grandparents' mental health history, that may be a good thing to talk to them about, if they're still in a point where they're talking, or talking to a therapist about it. So what can you do? The first thing I'm going to tell you is it's good to go to therapy. It's not necessarily important for couples therapy at this point, but it is important that one of you go, usually the person who is seeing it happening and doesn't know how to re-engage. Secondly, if you ask that therapist if they believe a medical practice would be able to see or talk to your partner. Because I tell you right now, many times I've been fooled. Things look like they're mental health, but they're actually physically related. Such things as diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. All these things can make you feel really bad and really terse, and actually they'll take so much focus off of what's happening in your relationship because you're trying to figure out what you have. I think when you really look at the medical profession seriously, whenever you encounter abandonment issues, in your marriage, you're going to be much further ahead. And lastly, ask that therapist if they have a support group or if they know of a support group that would be able to help you. I think that would be a really wise move, because then you could go to a support group that was dealing with the same thing. And many times after that, you can get insight, you can get ideas, you can get better resources to help your partner who seems to be abandoning the relationship totally emotionally. This is really important to remember. Many times when your partner emotionally abandons you, they don't realize it. Whatever is happening on the inside of them, going on in their mind, makes them totally focused and concerned with that, and they do not even think about what you're going through. If this video is helpful to you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.